stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy, was it Wednesday? You'll be hearing this on Thursday. I recorded earlier, had some mishaps. Maybe just put out I'm already recording now. So, thinking out loud, thought didn't really come through. Anyhow, this is the Friggin Farm and Ranch Report for Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. So we got a tape that's pulling in two directions and a deadline that lands tomorrow. Our lead story today is cash cattle trade. Wednesday hit 256, $256 a hundredweight in the north. It's not a typo. Last week's 248.38 five area record got blown up by $7.62 a hundredweight in a single week. Texas printed 250 early, and then the north pulled it up to 256 by midday. The breakout we called on Monday, live cattle June futures extended to a third session, but only barely, 30 cents to 253.45. Cash cattle is still pulling, and the board is taking a little bit of a breather, but that's a supply tantrum, plain and simple. The Plains wildfires are now over 1.1 million acres burned across the Sandhills alone, 824,000 acres in Nebraska, over 35,000 head of cattle displaced, and Governor Pillen has asked the FEMA for a 30-day extension on damage assessments because the scope is still moving, and that is a big reason on the why behind the cash bid. And then tomorrow, April 30th, so as you're listening to this, April 30th is absolute last day to file the SDRP Stage 1 and Stage 2 of the FSA 504 paperwork for the 2023 and 2024 disaster losses. If you got a letter sitting on the kitchen table, sign it and drop it at the FSA today, and we'll get back to that here in a little bit. But before we get too much further, let me tell you about our wonderful sponsors over at Lone Star Stockyards in Wildorado, Texas. Good people, giving you a fair deal. It's real people bidding on real cattle, giving you real dollars in exchange. It's price discovery, and the sale barn is a great way to do it. Lone Star's got a sale every Tuesday at 11 a.m. They ran through about 1,100 head this week. Sale starts at 11 Central. They got a delicious Mexican food truck outside for every sale, so come hungry. Next Tuesday is the Texas Angus Association feeder calf sale. And if you got any sort of questions, you can head over to LoneStarStockyards.com for all the information. Give Bill Martin a call over there. He's the owner, 970-302-5834. Sheldon Field is your yard manager, 806-736-0040. And the office number over there, if you got any questions, 806-677-0777. Thank you to Lone Star Stockyards for being a supporter of the show. We are a big supporter of you guys down there and the cash cattle market in general. Go check them out. Put your ass in the seats, bid on some cattle, buy a lunch from the Mexican food truck, and let everybody know you heard about it on the Friggin Farm and Ranch Report over on Burning Daylight. And also make sure you go check out all my feeds, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Twitter. I don't do a ton over there, but I'm on TikTok. I post and stuff, but I post and ghost. But either way, go follow my stuff, please. And most importantly, head over to Substack, burningdaylight.substack.com. You get in-depth analysis on these farm and ranch reports with all the sources and everything, and as well as access to my apps that I'm working on. I have created. And anyways, so that's all over at burningdaylight.substack.com. And that is my main source of revenue at the moment. And it is pretty sparse. So please go populate that. Help a brother out. All right, let's get into the show. Do we get... Yeah, all right. Here we go. Let me move around. All right. On the market flash, so Wednesday's close on the cattle complex. June live cattle up 30 cents at 253.45. That was the third session of the breakout, but the legs are tired. August live cattle closed out at 248.95. That was up 12.5 cents. So it's up, but it's a little blah. Kind of running out of steam, it seems like. We'll see how long that lasts with the supply of the way it is. Now the feeders snapped. May feeders closed out at $366.70. That was down $5.87.5. August feeders were closed out at $368, and that was down $457.5. And the CME cash index is at 369.34. The board is correcting, and cash trade still ripping, so a little bit of dissonance there. On the hogs, June lean hogs came in at 102.175. It was flat across, flat from yesterday on most reads with modest action. The grains bid hard on dryness. Kansas City May hard red winter wheat was at 712.5. That was up 108 on the session, and that is a drought premium screaming through the market. Plains, pasture, and wheat country are burning. On the Chicago May wheat, they closed out at 653.5. That was up 30 cents. May soybeans at 11.79. That was up about 6 cents on the continued Trump Xi Jinping summit hopes. That meeting is still on for May 14th and 15th. And corn pulled higher with the complex. Verify your settle on the May contract, but the initial reads are pretty noisy. On the energy side, it went vertical. West Texas June contract, 107.68. That was up $7.23 on the day, so about 6% or so. The Brent index June contracts at 117.30. That was up 6.62. The Iran and Strait of Hormuz risk got priced in pretty damn fast, huh? The AAA national diesel average is at 546.4. That was up 0.3 cents from Tuesday's 546.1. That's not 0.3 cents. That's 0.03 cents. The diesel lock is still holding by a fingernail. But with crude's up another $7, mechanical lag will catch up to the pump in about 7 to 10 days. So plan accordingly. Diesel will be going up. Equities and rates on the Dow, it was closed out about 49,000, basically flat. S&P was off about 0.5% at 71.38. NASDAQ was down almost 1% at 24,663. The big tech earnings jitters and the federal FOMC are ahead. 10-year yields at 4.63, the 2 years at 3.79, and we got 2 tons spread plus 52 basis points, and the yield curve is steepening. The dollar index is at 98.60, so that is up. On the metals side, June gold's at 45.53.30. That's down $55, and silver was at about 73 and change. So that's your market tape for the day. Let's get back into the get into the cattle and beef side. So I'm going to have to, my slideshow, I did not get updated. I am going to call out a hedge that I got right. But maybe not so much because looking at the reports, I just pulled it up a minute ago. So when I recorded earlier, we had a negative inversion on the choice select spread once again. But after I looked it up this evening, it appears that we're back on the positive side with a $1.80 on the choice select spread. So with choice closing out at 388.05 and select at 386.25. Anyways, my generated script had called it pretty much over, and I said not so fast. But anyway, there looks like the spread is still on the positive side. So we'll track all of that. So what they said, the Tuesday afternoon's print proved that the hedge was right. Choice 6 to 900 closed Tuesday at 381.92. That was up $1.02, and select at 383.64. That was up 2.30. The spread was back in the negative. So, and then on the Packer margin side, there was I don't know what the transcript came out, but it was saying that I said they were losing. It said I read they were making 43.50 ahead, and I said that is not what I said. I quoted losing anywhere from $170 to $190. There's some places that have them at negative 271 ahead on what the Packer margin is. And that kind of fits the story because cattle are high and packing capacity is also pretty low. So anyhow, we'll get into the cash story now. So the 5 area cash hit 248.38. That was a record last week. And this week, Wednesday's trade in Texas opened around 250, and the North pulled it up to 256 by midday. Increase of $7.62 on the record in 1 week. Why? There's 3 reasons stacked. So one, it's a 75-year low on the cow herd. Cargill's Milwaukee plant is shuttering on May 31st anyhow. And the plant capacity is shrinking faster than the herd can refill. 2, the March placements were down 7% on top of February that were down 5%. And the cattle on feed report next month is going to be a number that you might see a lot of. It's just not going to be good. It's not going to be ugly. It's not. It is going to be ugly. It's not going to be pretty. Nobody's going to want to see it. On the third one is the Plains fires. So 1.1 million acres are burned. That's pasture, fence, water tanks, haze, stock ponds are empty. Ranchers in Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma, Texas as well, and parts are deciding right now whether to sell down or keep buying hay at insurance truck prices. And cash buyers know what's coming, and they're paying up to lock in their supply. So what is going to stop the increase of continual increase of the prices? And that's going to be a demand crack. So we got to watch the retail beef next. And we watch the box beef evening prints. If the choice can't get back over 390 in the next week or so, it's probably a warning bell that people are starting to look for alternative protein sources. And us beef guys, we don't like to say those words, but it is at some point it will be true that the beef will get too expensive and people can't buy it, and you'll have another market correction there. So anyway, we'll keep monitoring that, but demand has been high, and that was a big reason why the spread was inverted, because the people were buying up a lot of the select stuff and probably for grind for grilling season. So my show prep program keeps wanting to hammer on this JBS strike deal, but that's been over for a couple of weeks now. But in case you guys didn't remember, the JBS strike is over. Greeley UFCW Local 7 ratified its new contract, and the workers are back. It's done, and I don't know why they put that in here. So I'm going to go Ron Burgundy and just read what's in front of me. But actually, no, I'm actually. So I upload all the transcripts back into my show prep machine, and so that way it can learn. So when I pull for stories, it has a better idea of what angle I want to do, because I like to build on the stories throughout the build on the show throughout the week. Anyhow, so I'm reading that, so maybe it'll flag that to just like move on from that story, because it's done. They're back to work, and that plant's running at pretty much full capacity as far as I know. On the DOJ probe, it's the same news as Monday. Tyson Cargill, JBS, National Beef, and the named targets per industry reporting are the named targets. JBS says it has no knowledge of the criminal probe, and the others have declined comment. So that's the update on that angle. We'll revisit it Monday, see if anything new has popped up. All right. On the sale barn pulse, this is a fun one. I always like this. On the horse end, I don't have a whole lot new. I'm still kind of refiguring my sale barn data. I'm trying to get the most comprehensive stuff. And if you haven't noticed, the horse market is incredibly fragmented. And I was so on this app that I'm building, A Man About a Horse, I'm trying to make it easier for a guy that doesn't know the horse market can figure out what his horse is worth. And I'm also building a rating called the Cowboy Horse Coefficient to rate a horse's usability on a cowboy standard. So like what can they do to get the job done as a working guy? So I'm working on that, and if you'd like to be a part of that, please let me know. I need some people testing and rating their horses, and then testing the See a Man About a Horse option. See if my data is correct, and I'm giving the right type of price estimates on a horse. So anyways, it's all pretty cool stuff, but I don't have anything really new from what I reported yesterday, because I'm still working on getting more data. But on the cattle side, I do got quite a bit. So the country buyers in the futures pit don't always tell the same story. The sale barn floor reads off of scarcity and local conditions. So I mean that is the numbers on the ground. So like we talk about the war reel quite a bit, and I've got a lot of military friends and family and some listeners, and I'm sure you all do too. And especially the enlisted guys, you always talk about how they bitch about the officers in general, but particularly like the generals that are making all the decisions with no regard, it seems like, with the actual troops on the ground. And so the sale barn is kind of like your troops on the ground, and then your futures market's kind of like the generals or the officer class. It's a rough comparison, but I think it works pretty decent. Anyway, so the sale barn floor reads off of scarcity and the local conditions, and the board reads off of macro conditions and money flow. So both on Tuesday, that was the day in question, the CME was green, and the country bid was pulled with it. So on the Tuesday recaps, they're at Lone Star and Wildorado. They ran 1,137 head on Tuesday. That was down from 1,501 last week, but it was up from 718 a year. So it was kind of a ho-hum average, just run of the mill day for Lone Star. Per USDA, the feeder steers and heifers sold $2 to $10 higher compared to last week. Demand was good with the CME board green on feeders and live cattle the day of the sale. So that was a good day to sell cattle. 174 head of 515 to 532 pound steers brought $520 a hundredweight. 87 head of 433 pound steers brought $600. 19 head of 500 to 528 pound steers ranged anywhere from 510 to 535, averaging about 521.24. On the heifer side, 80 head of 400 pound heifers at 530 a hundred, and 88 head of 807 to 810 pound heifers averaged 335.79 per hundred. Replacement cattle stayed firm. There wasn't a whole lot to choose from there, but 11 head of bred cows aged 5 to 8 years old averaged 34.93 a head. And there's a chance of some much needed rain later in the week. Noted on that report, so that'll be good news for everybody in that region. Over in El Reno, OKC West, on Tuesday, the calf and stockers sale. Calf and cocker. They're not running spaniels over there. They're running feeder cattle. The calf and stocker sale, 1,500 head, was way down from 91.47 last week and below 50.33 a year ago. Per USDA, steer and heifer calves mostly steady. Market appeared some higher and quality improved from last week. Demand was good and supply was 100% feeder cattle. Only 24% of them were over 600 pounds, though, so heavy on the lightweight grass-ready end. 21 head of 415 to 434 pound steers brought 565 to 580, averaging about 569.97. 45 head of 500 to 545 pound steers at 500 to 540, 100, averaging 514.10. On the heifer side, we had 30 head of 450 to 479 pound animals at 460 to 500, averaging at 485.84. 97 head of 551 to 597 pound heifers from 400 to 425 100, averaging 416.17. And temperatures had dropped from the 90s back into the 60s during the day of the sale, so that was a welcome relief. Joplin Regional Stockyards, these guys run a shitload of cattle. 10,608 head ran on Tuesday, up from 89.12 last week and up from 10,052 a year ago. That's a heavy supply with good demand. 426 head of 915 pound steers brought $337 a hundredweight. 472 head of 637 pound heifers at $434 a hundred, and 80 head of 483 pound steers at $475.27. Big numbers moving there through Joplin. Over in Colorado, Lahana Livestock, or Winter Livestock there out of Lahana. Don't get those two mixed up. There's beef. There's major beef. Lahana Livestock and Winter Livestock. We're talking about Winter here. Winter Livestock there in Lahana, estimates around 1,000 to 1,250 head. Feeder steers under 550 were down 7 to 9, but over 550 they were up $2 to $5. 128 head of 975 pound steers brought 306.75 a hundredweight. Pretty good penny. 975, so call it 1,000 pounds. 1,000 pound steers at 306. So you're $3,000 on a 1,000 pound steer. Oosh, wow. So watch tomorrow. Superior Livestock today, as you're listening to it, has a 23,000 head live video sale on Thursday, April 30th. Calves, feeders, beef on dairy crosses, bred stock from ranchers nationwide. That sale will tell us how much demand there really is when buyers see the full slate. The Western video sale on May 1st follows. And like I said, on the horse market, I don't have a whole lot new to update on that, so we'll just move on along here. That was more of our stuff there. All right. On the inputs and energy side, West Texas June contract at 107.68. That was up $7.23 a barrel today. That was up over $11 from where we were 48 hours ago. Brent's at 117.30. The Brent West Texas spread is sitting about $9.62, narrower than yesterday's 10.23. Which usually means the physical traders are pricing U.S. barrels with more risk premium. EIA report Wednesday came in with 1.79 million barrel draw on the U.S. crude inventories. So that's a bullish surprise. That's the bullish surprise that the longs were waiting for, on top of all the geopolitics. The diesel price pump, AAA national average was $5.46. That was up 0.03 of a cent, or I guess 0.3 of a cent, 0.03 of a dollar. The lock is holding by a fingernail, 3 sessions inside of 2 cents now. But the mechanical lag is real, and crude's up $11 in 48 hours. That means we should expect about $5.50 diesel at the pumps in another week or so. So that's another 4 to 5 cents a gallon coming. I would say minimum on that. I don't want to sound like a soothsayer or something, but I think 4 to 5, at least out here where we are. Nevada, California, and Arizona are, I think a lot of it had to do is we got a lot of our oil from California, and then they shut down the oil business in California for the most part. And now, like, we're importing a bunch of shit from Asia because otherwise you got to go through Panama Canal to ship it over here. And I don't know. So anyways, it's higher over here. And there's also a bunch of stupid California bullshit tied in with all of that, with taxes and all that environmental shit. So long story short is fuel prices in Nevada are not very fun right now. They're not very fun anywhere, but particularly out here on the West Coast. So if you got space in your tank, top it off now before the prices go back up even higher. On the Hormuz angle, the IRGC seized those 2 containers last week, and they still have them there in harbor at Bandera Abbas. And we have seized now 3 Iranian-linked tankers. We're over 60 days into this deal. The Senate War Powers vote failed 47 to 53. So the insurance war risk premium for the Hormuz Strait running 2 to 6% of hull value. So that's up to $12 million per transit on big ships. I know I keep saying that, but that's a lot of money. And the cost is showing up in the landed urea and DAP. The fertilizer transmission log is about 30 days, give or take. So look for input price pass-through to hit your local co-op invoices this May. On the wheat side, wheat went up $1.08 on the Kansas City hard red winter contract. That tells you that the plains pasture conditions are showing up in the cash futures. So if you're a wheat grazer, you already know the trade. You're moving cattle off and writing the lease. Corn turned higher with the complex, so settle on the May contract is noisy on the initial reads. Verify with your broker before you price in anything there. On the war reel, we'll run through it kind of quick because not a ton new, and it's weird saying that because there was another assassination attempt on Donald Trump this weekend. At the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which I think that's the first one he's actually gone to while he's been president. So maybe don't do that anymore. I will say the guy that tried to shoot him was fast. He was fast as fuck, boy. Crazy lefty guy, it seems like. I have not followed up too much on it because it's weird to say, but at this point, he's like, "Oh, another assassination attempt, huh? Well, okay." And then you just kind of move on because, well, they didn't get him, and I don't know. maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but it seems like the Secret Service is just not very good at what they do lately. Anyhow, but on the actual war reel, there's not much going on. So Iran's what do we say? So they got no release on the table for those tankers seized by the IRGC. The U.S. Fifth Fleet escorts continue through the Strait of Hormuz, and no fourth seizure on either side overnight. It's day 60 plus of the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran as of Tuesday, and the Senate war powers failed last week. So Trump has constitutional running room. Israel's Iron Dome battery is still deployed in the UAE. Strikes ongoing in southern Lebanon, and no ceasefire framework circulating publicly. And then the UAE backed out of OPEC, which is a big deal. How big of a deal, I'm not real for sure yet, but it's pretty understandable why they did so. Iran hit them pretty hard, despite them trying to kind of stay neutral, even though we have military bases over there. But they also want to sell more oil, and part of being in OPEC is OPEC sets the price and the amounts for all the members. And anyway, so UAE said, see ya. And I don't know what's going to happen with that in the long term, but we'll keep an eye and see how many, if any others, follow suit. Okay, the market read is insurance running 2 to 6% of hull, up to $12 million per transit on big tonnage. That cost is being absorbed today by a handful of carriers. So if we get if we seize a fourth ship, or we get a kinetic response from Iran, meaning ballistic missiles and not just another tanker grab, that insurance number could double overnight, and we'd see immediate pass-through on to refined product, fertilizer, and container freight rates. So watch for that. But today it's kind of a holding pattern. Let's get into the domestic ag side of things today. Let me adjust right. All right. All right. First things first, the SDRP deadline is April 30th. That's tomorrow as I'm recording this. Today as you're listening. If you listen to it on time. The Supplemental Disaster Relief Program, it's $16 billion in fund that covers 2023 and 2024 crop, tree, vine, and hay losses. Stage 1 is for folks who get a pre-filled letter. So if you have that sitting around, sign it and walk it over to the FSA office now. Step 2 is for shallow losses, uninsured losses, and quality losses with the file form FSA 504 with your own documentation. No extensions are announced, so if you accept SDRP money, you must carry federal crop insurance or NAP at 60% coverage for the next 2 years, and those are the strings that's attached to that deal. So call your local FSA office today. Don't leave your money on the table. Second one, rural mental health. Rural Minds just launched the Farmer Mental Health Resilience Program. It's a free set of confidential online tools for farmers, ranchers, and family. Find it at ruralminds.org. Farming is hard, and the spring fire season, on top of margin compression, is squeezing folks real tight. So if you're in a dark place, call or text 988. That's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. I don't know who answers those lines, so I don't know if I should be recommending them. I'm not trying to be contrary. I just don't know who's actually doing that. But anyhow, like if you're having some struggles, you don't have to go about it alone. Call a friend, do a buddy check, neighbors check on neighbors, and then 988 is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So if you need any of those things, please don't hesitate to take advantage of those. And like I said, do a buddy check this week, just for good measure. You never know. On the third one, there's another rural hospital filing. So Fitzgibbon Hospital in Marshall, Missouri, that's in Saline County. It's an independent rural hospital, filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy last Tuesday, April 21st, and announced a private sale to stay open. That follows Greenwood LaFleur Hospital in Mississippi, filing earlier this month. The United Healthcare rural pivot that we covered yesterday, exempting 1,500 rural hospitals from prior authorization by fall 2026. That is a real move, but it doesn't pay this month's payroll at Fitzgibbon. The rural hospital crisis is still active, with 41% of hospitals running negative margins and 756 at risk of closure nationwide. I was talking to Dan Given because he does some hospital consulting, and he was down in Mississippi for a while, and I was going to talk a whole bunch of shit on him if this was one of the hospitals that he worked on, but it was not. But he said that hospitals are in pretty big trouble right now, and he would know because he's balls deep in that type of work. But the 340B drug program is getting cut, and the Medicaid cuts are really going to hurt hospitals, he said. All right, so that's the three stories, three corners of rural America, and three different dumpster fires, it seems like. On the policy and macro side of things, the Farm Bill, House Resolution 7567, cleared the House rules Tuesday, April 28th, by a 9-4 vote. That structured rule sets up 1 hour of general debate and limits which amendments can be offered on the floor. The House leadership is moving towards a floor vote this week, and it will be tight. Oppositions from both sides on nutritional cuts and the total cost. The pesticide preemption language is still in, as well as the summer E15 provision. So we can watch for a Friday floor action. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'm going to check on my little chat bot here. Was the horse slaughter amendment included? Farm Bill Rules Committee vote. No, the horse slaughter amendment or the SAFE Act. Let me put this up there so we can see it on the screen. No, the horse slaughter amendment or the SAFE Act Amendment 24 and HR 7567 was not included in the House Rules Committee vote on the Farm Bill. Okay, there we go. Let me see what the Rules Committee met to decide if Amendment 24, aiming to end horse transport for slaughter across border, would be ruled in order for floor consideration, but it was rejected, blocking advancement. So that's good. They're not going to outright ban horse slaughter, the transport of horses for slaughter. So that's good. On the SCOTUS angle, Monsanto versus Durnell, arguments were Monday, April 27th, and justices appeared divided in the oral argument. Bayer's stock plunged Tuesday, April 28th, as investors did the math on what a ruling for Durnell would mean for billions in Roundup liability reserves. Decision on that is expected in late June. On the Trump-Xi Jinping summit in Beijing, May 14th and 15th, the ag is at the center of that conversation. Soybeans were up about 6 cents on Wednesday on Summit positioning trade. The USTR delegation movements are being watched. All right, on the dairy side, APHIS continued to lift on lactating dairy testing requirement from unaffected states for the bird flu. No major new state detections in the past 24 hours. And on the screwworm front, Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller called the April 10 Nuevo Leon case about 80 miles from the southern border of the U.S. A quote flashing red warning sign. No new northern cases are confirmed yet, and the Edinburgh sterile fly facility groundbreaking was April 17th. Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins, her visit to Douglas, Arizona, has still not been rescheduled, or no reschedule has been announced on that. So that's the end on the policy note. All right, so some hits and misses that we and the herd tells. So cattle futures breakout has stalled a little bit. June live cattle up 30 cents, so still up, but kind of petering out. Maybe have hit a top, or maybe we're catching our breath. I'm not for sure. Cash cattle, but the record is extended, and the feeders are paying over $250 for the first time. Box beef is now back. It says inverted here, so I'm gonna just don't look at that. But it was at a positive 180 in the afternoon pull today. So feeder snap backed, and West Texas crude, Brent crude, that's all just ripping straight vertical. West Texas at $107 a barrel. The diesel lock is starting to crack. So if you're getting your diesel for the summer, now is as good a time to get it as any. The Kansas City hard red winter wheat. It was a drought bid, up $1.08 on that. And then, cash hits 256. The futures pit takes a breather, and yesterday's right setup call ate dirt. Well, no, it didn't. So anyway, that's Wednesday's call. On this day in history. So, on this day, April 29th, 1992, the Rodney King verdict came down in Los Angeles, and the LA riots began that evening. 63 people killed over 6 days, and about $1 billion in damages. And we got introduced to one of the unsung hero populations of America, and that is the rooftop Koreans. In Koreatown, there was a bunch of shop owners that set up shop on top of their buildings with rifles to protect their business from all the looters and try to keep it from being burnt down, and kind of an iconic image. So hats off to the rooftop Koreans. On this day, April 29th, 1980, Alfred Hitchcock died at the age of 80, and that guy redefined a genre. In 1429, Joan of Arc lifts the siege of Orleans, turning the 100 Years' War in France's favor. And on April 29th, 1862, Union forces captured New Orleans during the Civil War. It was the largest Confederate city falls. All right, so take the action today. File your SDRP. Lock your summer diesel in, and keep an eye on the Superior Livestock sale on Thursday. Sports today: the Rockies beat the shit out of the Reds 13-2, and Severino went 7 innings, punched out 8, only gave up a run, and the A's took Game 2 of the series from the Royals 5-1. Rubber match tomorrow with Jeffrey Springs on the mound, I think against Michael Wacha. Was Wacha tonight? Wacha was tonight. Tomorrow, Noah Cameron, Jeffrey Springs. That'll be a good pitching matchup. And Rockies split the series so far with the Reds to see if they can pick up another win on the road. take the series and come back or close out that series with 15 wins on the year, which is pretty good for the old Roccos. Pretty good. Not bad at all. They are not the worst team in the National League. So good on them. The A's still atop the AL West, a game ahead of the Mariners, who have been playing some good baseball here lately. So I will cover all of that on Burning Daylight Baseball first thing in the morning. But on this note, move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight. Well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right.